to go. And that's where we're now going to introduce Anne Nelson. Anne is a wonderful example of someone who had an extreme interest in learning more about the technical side of Zoom through our district club officer training. And now she loves it and she's good at it. She learnt it and she picked it up by simply playing. So Anne, we would be really happy to hear your part of this online contest workshop by saying, how do we actually set up Zoom to make sure that our meeting is going to go off without a glitch? Let's welcome Anne.
Thank you, Denise, and welcome to everyone. So I'm covering the mechanics of setting up the Zoom room for the speech contest and just covering a bit about the basic settings and testing your equipment. So that's very important too. So perhaps we'll start with that. I don't know if you're like me, but quite often I have many different pages open on my web browser at the one time, and at the end of the day I might just get up and walk away, and I don't actually turn my computer off. And even with a laptop, I'll just close the lid down, but the computer's not actually turned off. So it's very important that you encourage anyone that has an important role on the day to make sure at least the day before that they have actually signed off their computer. So they've actually turned it off and then turn it back on again next morning. But you need to, this is to cover the chance that your computer does an automatic update and starts to close down in the middle of a speech contest. And I can tell you it has happened before. So do that extra thing and actually turn your computer off, turn your laptop off, and then restart it. Now, that will be one thing that may not happen to you or to a contestant on the day. So encourage all your contestants to please do that one little thing. The other thing you need to do is to check that you have the latest version of Zoom, and I'll screen share. So when you're going to, before we actually schedule the meeting, if you're using the district account, well, that's fine. The district account is up to date, has the latest versions. But if you're using someone else's account, and it must be a professional account, not a free one, because a free one only lasts 40 minutes. So you need someone's professional paid account. They still have to update their Zoom account themselves. They may get sent messages, but sometimes we ignore these things. So you need to check. So I'll screen share with you now and just go through a couple of images. So you open your Zoom app. So you go down and find your Zoom file and open your app on your computer, and you'll get this, so you can schedule a meeting, start a new meeting. This is a handy hint too here, new meeting. You can have a meeting with yourself. So if you're a contestant, you can have a new meeting and record yourself actually speaking online. And at the end of that, it will render off. You leave the meeting, it'll render that video, and you can watch yourself back and see how your timing's going. But up here in the right-hand corner where my face is, you click on that, and then you will get this. Hang on. Sequence. You'll get this drop down, and it'll say, check for updates. And you click on that, check for updates. And I'll go back to the previous picture. And it'll say, well, I've just updated mine on Friday because I was out of date. And it will tell you whether you've got the latest version of Zoom on your computer. And if you haven't, it'll tell you how to, it'll give you a link so you can update it. So that's that part of it. Now, when you're actually going to schedule the meeting, So you're going to log into zoom.com, and then I've already done that, so save a bit of time. So I've got to put myself out of the way. I'm on the wrong one. Schedule a meeting. You've got to find the schedule a meeting. Okay, so if you haven't scheduled a meeting before, you can just go here.
And you're still on the screenshot, mate, so you'll probably have to stop the screenshot first and then hit the screen share again.
Oh, okay, can you see it now? Topic?
All good.
Okay. So we need to put the topic in. So we're saying it's the ABC speech conference. Then you can enter some additional information in the next text box. And then you come down here and select your date. So I'll set up one for tomorrow, the 4th of October, and then you need to give your starting time. So it's in the morning, and it's going to be, say, 8 a.m. And then you need to select the duration of the time. There may be some guidance there of how long we're allowed to use it for. I think 2 speech contests take about 4 hours. So you may want to add half an hour to the beginning and to the end of that time. And say you're going to have a 5-hour meeting, but that's just a decision you'll have to make when you have your convener and your officials make that decision. So you want the waiting room. That is now automatically ticked, but you want a waiting room. You want your audio, and this box is automatically ticked now, but you want both computer audio, and it's got telephone, so I'm not sure about that. That's just say both. You do not want to enable to join before the host, but you want to mute participants upon entry. So that's one of the most important things. So you want the waiting room open, and you want to mute participants upon entry, and save your settings. Then you'll be asked another question. You have the ability then to save this in a calendar, and this is a great thing to do. So I use Google, so I'll save mine in my Google Calendar. And it just makes it so I pick my email account I want to save it to, or you can choose to, and then you have to say, yes, I am allowing Google Zoom to go into my Google Calendar. And this is where you save. So here's all the details of the conference Zoom meeting that you've just set up, and I'll save it. Now I can go now to my speech conference that I just set up for tomorrow in my calendar, and open that up, and it gives me the saying Ann Nelson is inviting you to a scheduled Zoom meeting, but it's got up here the email guest button. So if you click that, and this is where you start typing in who you're going to email the invitation to. So if I want to send it to Pam Holly, if I've got Pam's email address in here, I wanted to send it to John, if I wanted to send it to a number of people. So you could have everyone that you want to send this to. It's up to you whether you want to send the officials it first and the contestants separate, and then anyone else separate again, or if you want to send it out to everyone at the one time. This is where, and you can type a special message. So if you want to send it to just the contestants, you could type in a note here of telling them what time you want them to turn up, because you may want your officials and your contestants to turn up half an hour, say, before the audience turns up. So that's some other decisions you need to make. So here you can type a message in and then you just press send button. And sorry, the people I put in there, but you're going to get an email from me inviting you to a fictitious meeting tomorrow. So you can come back there at any time. And if you want to send that out again, so if you want to send out a reminder, again, go back here, click email button. This is where you put your emails in. This is the subject. So this is the ABC Speech Conference, and then type your message. So if it's a reminder, and then you send again. So that's the basics of scheduling a meeting. You must use the paid account. If you want to use the district's account, get in early for your date, because I believe they'll be disappearing fast. The dates, you must use a professional account. You must ensure that all the officials and the contestants have got the latest versions of Zoom, and also to ensure that there's no hiccups. I strongly encourage everyone to make sure they've updated their computers and turned them off and turned them back on again. For testing the equipment on the day, it's a simple matter of getting the contestants to go down, say, to the microphone button down the end where you have the up arrow. You can all do that, and it says test speaker and microphone. And I'll do it as a demonstration, and you'll be able to hear. So it's asking me, do I hear a ringtone? So I say, yes, I can hear a ringtone. Then it's saying, speak and pause. Speak and pause. So I say yes. And that's a quick way to find out on the day, is everyone's equipment that needs to have their equipment working, is it working? And that's a quick way to do a quick test. I think I've covered everything that I needed to cover. Is there anything else you'd like me to say, Denise?
Hosts and co-hosts.
Okay. The person that schedules the meeting, it could be the area director, it could be the district director. If they're the ones that are setting up the meeting in District 69, they're the ones that automatically become the host. Now, the Zoom master may not be that person. You've probably appointed someone else. So once the Zoom master comes online, and I encourage you to have them online half an hour beforehand, you have to assign the hosting duties to them and make them the host, because only the host can set up the breakout rooms, etc. If in case something happens, it's happened to me once, if the host's computer goes down, the host automatically gets passed back to the person that set up the meeting. So this happened with me and Mark Snow. I dropped out, my computer shut down, and it took about 5 minutes before I came back. And as he had set up the meeting, the hosting rights automatically reverted back to him. And once I came back online, he just made me the host again, and then I made him the co-host. So you do need to set up a few co-hosts, and Simon will probably cover more about that in his presentation.
And would you suggest we do no chat from the setup, or when we actually take over at the actual contest?
It depends. Well,
no chat.
No chat. I'm not sure if someone else was going to cover the chatting, so Warren's going to cover that, but no chatting, because it's seen as an encouragement. It could be seen as an encouragement, and definitely you don't want anyone chatting in the middle of a speech. It can be distracting, and it can be seen as encouraging. So I think the other presenters will be covering more on those topics.
And thank you so much. You make it look so easy. And we hope that we find that we have no glitches because you